Yo, what's good? Man, my hair look crazy. Hey, what's good, man? This is your boy at DFSMasterMind _ over on Twitter. Thank you for clicking on the video. I appreciate your time. I'm coming to you with a really quick edition of DFS Mastermind's Quick Hits. I'm going to put this video out really quick. It's almost 4 o'clock, man. I just got off work. But, you know, I want to go ahead and put this video out, man. I think a few people will be able to check it out. So, you know, that's the goal. Today's date is May the 18th. We have a ton of MLB action, man. A ton of MLB action. We got good pitchers. We have a lot of bats in good spots. I already said today's date. I'm sorry. But we got 14 games, man, to look at and digest. I want to run over the names really quick, man. I'm going to do this really quick, so pay attention. First game, we have the Blue Jays versus the Orioles, 4.4 to a 4.7. We have Sanchez versus Tillman. That game has a little weather concerns. Next game, we have Phillies versus the Pirates. 4.4 to a 4.7. We have Hellickson versus Williams. You know, this game also has a chance of light rain, man. With these light rain games, because most of the games that's on the slate are light rain, just make sure you stay up on DFS. I choose to follow MLB DFS Weather. Really good source, man. He's always updating it. Keep you on your toes, man. I like to do that. Or Kevin Roth or any of these guys, man. Just make sure you have a weather connect. Next game, we have the Yankees versus the Rays. 4.3 to a 3.8. We have Severino versus Ramirez. I think this is a pitching option, man. I want to say that really quick. Next game, we have the Rangers versus Detroit Tigers. Implied run total 4.1 to a 5. We have Nick Martinez versus Daniel Norris. I like some stuff from that game too. But light rain concerns, so make sure you stay up on it. Then we have the Angels versus the Mets, 3.4 to a 4.2. We have Ricky Nolasco versus Jacob deGrom. You know, y'all know who I'm looking at. Next game, we have the Rockies versus Cincinnati Reds, 4.5 to a 4.6. We have Tyler Anderson versus Bovana. I don't know who this guy is. I did a little research on him to just check out his numbers. We'll get to him a little later. But yeah, this game also has a little, slight chance of rain, 63%, but it's light rain, man. So in MLB, they tend to push past the light rain concerns. Next game, we have the Nationals versus the Braves, 5.1 to a 4. We have Gio Gonzalez versus the knuckleballer R.A. Dickey. I think we can look at that game for some things. Then we have Kansas City Royals versus the Minnesota Twins, 4.1 to a 4. We have Nate Kearns versus Hector Santiago. Next game, we have Cleveland Indians versus the Astros, Trevor Bauer and Charlie Morton on the mound. Implied run total 3.8 to a 4.3. This game is, I'm kind of overlooking that one. Next game, we have Giants versus the Cardinals, 3.9 to a 4.7. Matt Moore versus Waka. Next game, we have Boston Red Sox versus Athletics. Chris Sale versus Graverman. I think this is a really good spot for, I think you know who, Mr. Chalk. Mr. Strike him out. Next game, we have the Diamondbacks versus the Padres. Taijuan Walker versus the Gas Can Jared Weaver. Y'all know what we're doing. Next game, we have the Marlins versus the Dodgers. Nolasco versus Wood. Implied run total 3.1 to a 5. Next game, we have the Chicago White Sox versus the Mariners, 3.7 to a 3.9. We have Jose Quintana versus Miranda. And that's going to do it, man. So I ran through the games. It took me 4 minutes. So now we finna get into the meat and potatoes, man. Now that I read what we have on the slate, I want to tell you some of my favorite spots, things that I will be looking to target. And I'm going to start it off, man. Cash pitchers, I think you should definitely pay up for Sale and deGrom. not only cash, man. I'm going to be using these guys in GPPs too. I think they're hands down the best. I think they're the best pitching options, man. And I don't want to be left in the dry without a good pitcher, man. So I'm going to spend that extra few thousand, man, and make sure I have one of these guys. I don't think on DraftKings, I don't know if I'll be able to afford both of them. But if I can, I'm going to definitely try to make it work, man. So those are my two cash pitchers. My two GPP pitchers are going to be Severino and Gio Gonzalez versus the Atlanta Braves with no Freddie Freeman, man. Now, if Freddie Freeman was still on the lineup, I wouldn't suggest this, man, because y'all know how big I am on Freddie Freeman. That's my guy. But, you know, he's not in the lineup, man, so I think there's a case to be had. We see him just throwing together lineups. And without Freddie Freeman, the whole lineup loses a little bang, man. So now all you have to really watch out for is Matt Kemp. Nick Markakis is a really good hitter, but it's only because Freddie Freeman and Matt Kemp and they tend to get on base for him a lot, man. So he gets a lot of easy ribbies. But you know, without the Freddie Freeman in the lineup, I'm all over Gio Gonzalez. We know his K rate is pretty high this season. The only thing he's been struggling with, his ERA is a little high. But not anything that'll kill you, man. And I think going up against the Braves, he'll be able to return enough K upside to where I'm gonna plug him in a lot of my lineups, man. A lot of my lineups. Like I'm talking a lot of them. He may be my favorite pitcher on the slate. I can't say that because Chris Sale, and we all know what he does to batters. The man he's trying to set history tonight. So it's kind of like Westbrook when he was chasing the triple doubles. You know, the team wants to see him do this. So he's gonna come out with his nasty face on, man. So I like him tonight. Let's talk some bats really quick. I got bats and then I got some stacks I want to touch on, and then I'm gonna be done, man. Like I said, I want to put the video out in time to have people to be able to watch it. So let's go, man. Cash bats. I have a guy named Pat Clavon. I don't even know who he is. I just, you know, when I don't know about somebody, what I go do, I look up, I just go to FanGraph, you know, just in case you didn't check out my other video. I go to FanGraph, I type in their name, I see what their you know, what their stats look like, what they're averaging. And I think he's in a really good spot, man. You'll know why a little later. Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you the Cincinnati team is one of my favorite stacks for tonight. They're playing in a really small park versus a left-handed pitcher that gives it up, man. He really does. I mean, he's decent, but he has some okay K stuff, but he gives it up, man. If he's not striking people out, he's getting rocked. And I think the trend is going to continue today. So I like him as a cheap option. He's batting in the 7-hole. You know, he has the handiness, and he smashes lefties, man. If you go look at his minor league stats, the man is just smashing on lefties. I think his ISO and his slugging percentage is at 5.529, and his isolated power is almost a 2. So that's getting near elite numbers. So I'm gonna definitely look at him. Next cheap cash bet that I want you to squeeze in that'll help you pay up for your pitchers, for the Sales and DeGroms. Franklin Gutierrez, man. I don't have to go into too much detail about him. Y'all already know who he is. You know, been around the league a long time, going up against a lefty in Nolasco. I think he's in a really good spot tonight, man. I'm gonna squeeze him in as a cheap option. Yeah, man, and he's batting cleanup too, man. So plenty of chances for some ribbies. I think he's in a good spot, and I like the price tag, man. I really do. So I'm going with him for tonight as a cash bet. Next guy I have is Sanchez, man, the second baseman for the White Sox. He's going up against Miranda. Has the handiness. He's a switch hitter. He's been doing pretty decent in the 2-hole, man. I think he can get a few RBIs. I don't think he'll go long tonight. He probably won't go yard, man, but he has a little stolen base upside. I think he's just in a really solid spot, and a cheap price tag, man, to fill some of that infield the infield scarcity, man, I'm a pay down a little bit, man, and I feel really safe with him. Now let's move on to GPPs. GPPs, man, my top 3 bets are going to be no-brainers. I think all these bets are in a really good spot. I believe all of them have the handiness, and they're in good. I'm either using these guys in stacks or it's just an elite one-off, man. So starting off the list, I got Adam Duvall, man. He's been struggling a little bit, but he's going up against a guy that I said, Tyler Anderson. He gives it up, man. He really does. Duvall is a right-hander. He's back at home, man, in a small ballpark. Their implied run total is 4.6, man. So that's pretty solid, man. I feel pretty safe with that. It's not through the roof, but it's one of the highest totals on the night. I'm definitely locking in Duvall. Next guy I got is Brett Gardner. And he's going up against Ramirez, man. I don't know much about him. The notes that I jotted down about him, I know his in the minor leagues, his ERA was around 3, which is it's not terrible, man. If you talking major leagues, that's not terrible. But he was doing this in the minor leagues, man. So I think there's room for there's room to be taken advantage of. If he could barely keep his ERA under 2 in the minors, I think when he gets to the big leagues, man, they gonna rock him, man. It's as simple as that, man. So I like that. I said Brett Gardner. The last one I had was of course, man, Bryce Harper. He's going up against a knuckleballer and the Braves pitcher, man. I can't think of his name. I almost said Lackey, but it's Dickey. R.A. Dickey, man. He's a really good knuckleball pitcher, man. Now, the thing about these knuckleballers, if you can see the knuckleball, you can crush it, man. It's like it's just floating. It's just coming at you like this. And if he leaves one up in the strike zone, I definitely believe Bryce Harper will get it going. And he's in Atlanta's ballpark. If we love Freddie Freeman so much in this ballpark, well, I know I do. I'm willing to take a chance on Bryce Harper, man. I think he's actually the best hitter in the MLB. It hurts me a little bit to say that, man, because I like Trout a lot. I like Freeman a lot. I like a bunch of hitters, man. But Harper, man, he's uber consistent. He's been struggling a little bit. I think his ownership should be a little, a little below average. I know last night it was at like a 20, I believe, or the night before. So that's not ridiculous, man. If you can get him in a tournament going up against a knuckleballer, which I think Washington will end up rocking the pitcher early, and the Braves will have to go deep into their bullpen. They don't have one of the trusted bullpens, so I'm all over Bryce Harper tonight. I'm looking for a 3-for-4 night, man, 2 homers and a double, man. That's what I'm looking for Big Bryce. I'm telling you, the hitters ballpark favors him. Atlanta Braves' new ballpark is built for left-handers, man. So I'm going to get the best left-hander in the game, and I'm locking him in. And those are my GPP plays. Last thing I want to mention before I get out of here, I'm going to give you a couple stacks, man. I have one game stack tonight, and that is going to be the Cincinnati Reds versus the Rockies. And this is simply based off the ballpark, man. The small ballpark. 2 pitchers that that are bums, man. We don't really trust these pitchers. I do trust some of the hitters, so I'm gonna be all over this one. Whether it's one-offs, I know for sure I have a red stack, but yeah, man, I'm in love with this situation. Now, make sure you're up on the weather. Do that for me. And then some additional team stacks that I like. I like Washington. Of course, I just got done talking about them. The ballpark plays a huge factor. And Washington bats are always on point. Then I have Detroit. Detroit actually has a little rain concern too. It's drizzles right now. But they have a boost in the wind, and they're going up against Nick Martinez, who's not good. And then the last stack I have is the Yankees going up against Ramirez. Like I said, man, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. I find a sorry pitcher, find a team of hitters that I can trust, and I plug them in. That's going to do it for today, man. I am your boy at DFSMasterMind. Y'all bless up. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I appreciate the love I get. Thank you, man. Continue to watch me. I'll continue to supply, man. get to the green line tonight, man. Let's go.